Joker movie. Do you know who I saw? After, before and during I saw this movie? I saw Cesar Romero from the 1960s with the comedy aspects of the Joker. I saw Jack Nicholson's Joker from the 1989 Batman movie with the use of violence with guns and with the Joker's facial image from that movie into this one. I saw Cameron Monaghan's Joker from the TV series Gotham and the legendary Mark Hamill's Joker with his voice when it comes to the laughing into this movie.
Let the good times roll!
I saw Heath Ledger's Joker with the Joker moments in this movie. And last but certainly not the least by any stretch of the imagination, I saw Joaquin Phoenix give an outstanding performance as the Joker. These guys, who are all considered legends in my book, for their portrayal as the clown's prince of crime, whether it be in cartoons, TV series or on the big screen, have given something to DC fans that befits such a great performance. For the arch nemesis Batman for being the Joker for their time. I just want to say thank you, gentlemen. The Hall of Fame for the Joker portrayals have your name written all over them. Joaquin Phoenix is next to have a go, and what a go it was. Because combining all of these portrayals that we've mentioned from these amazing gentlemen here, Joaquin Phoenix has actually managed to capture them all, including his own portrayal. How is that even possible? Well, stay in and enjoy my review of Joker. Watching the Joker movie and getting ready to anticipate what I actually saw from the trailer was actually a magnificent build-up to actually get me ready and psyched for what I was prepared to enjoy, or at least witness. That kind of excitement is pretty much unusual, since this movie is actually based on a DC villain from an established comic book company that most of us are actually familiar with. Set in the 1980s, Joker is focused on less of being a generic action movie, an easy yet forgettable superhero movie with comic book tropes and unnecessary jokes and attempted humour. This is a brilliant psychological drama thriller hybrid with a small dose of evening out that balance between the two. That was not only a breath of fresh air accompanied with 10 tons of drinking clean water while walking through the Sahara Desert, i.e. that is the movie industry, from the comic book companies of our time, namely Marvel and DC. It is one of many few movies that I've seen within the past 2 decades that had my adrenaline pumping with excitement and pretty much with intense anticipation. It is by far the best R-rated movie I have seen from a movie based on a comic book character. Being that the movie doesn't just start with somebody being thrown into the movie and just being the Joker from then on. That to me is just a generic movie trope to do with a character being based on the simple fact that he or she is actually a villain, with nothing to tell or show about him or her. For me, sometimes when movies do that is just pretty much all style and no substance, with something which I cannot stand, to be honest. I personally love and like character development and origin stories that dig well into a person's life. That then shows us how that individual became the person they are that they are known for. And this movie delivers on both things pretty well. Arthur Fleck is our main man who is in desperate need of a sandwich, is played by the Emperor himself from Gladiator, Joaquin Phoenix, taking place in the infamous city of Gotham. We are introduced to an individual who is just pretty much like everybody else. He's not a billionaire playboy, he's not even a crime boss, he's not even a gangster. Just another human being who just wants to pursue his career in stand-up comedy. Comedy is good. I would actually say that's a good thing to pursue a career in comedy. But the SJWs and critics of our time in this generation today are actually providing the humour on themselves, unintentionally to be laughed at, enough to the point where it becomes pathetic, considering the illustrious trash and rubbish that comes out of their mouth to our ears. Not to mention the best location for those kind of things is best left in the toilet and flushed. Joining in on the cast is Domino from Deadpool, Zazie Beetz, and Robert De Niro, to name a few. The pacing of the movie is follow-friendly. It does not feel rushed and is slowly progressed forward for character development for Arthur Fleck, as we become accustomed to his struggles and his journey. I felt very sympathetic for Arthur Fleck, as this movie's storytelling is written in such a way and is shown in such a magnificent way also that I can actually respect and pretty much sympathise with, as it portrays what individuals go through and continue to put up with from the scumbags of our society, no matter where you live in the world today and what your profession is. And since the world is very media heavy saturated in this day and age, I understand I can feel the absolute 100% resentment towards such things. The tone of this movie is set in a human to relatable ground level, which I actually feel is very fitting for a movie that is really based on a psychological storyline. There's nothing wrong with the pacing, as followable as it is. In any fact, that's actually a thumbs up for the movie, because it's not trying to be big or bombastic or anything, or just trying to offer you something incredible just for the sake of actually doing it, with all that style with no substance. Thank goodness for that, I say. I felt that kind of direction would have given this movie its downvotes, considering the fact if it just had guns firing from the hip like some sort of 80s action movie, killing all targets without succumbing to at least a tiny bit of an injury, jumping out of helicopters thousands of feet in the air only to survive with only just a tiny little bit of scratch on your ankle. It would have been completely unnecessary if this movie would have went down that route. I found that the music score for this movie, in specific scenes to do with certain situations, was actually pretty well done. It's not the most head-banging, but that's good. That would be unnecessary as well. The music for this movie actually fits in with the atmospherical components that this movie offers in terms of its tone and situation, especially for an origin story that is to do with a human being and the struggles of being in society. I even stayed behind in its credits to listen to the entire score till the movie was completely finished. I really recommend that. Thankfully, my eyes and my heart was actually more focused on watching as a man as he is pushed and pushed to the tipping point by those around him who expect him to act in such a way that makes him accepted as being normal. As I was watching, I thought this movie was going to head in an obvious direction. How wrong I was. There were several directions that this movie took that threw me off guard in terms of expectancy. One certain factor that separates Joaquin Phoenix portrayal as a Joker from the others that I've mentioned earlier on in this video is the fact not only did I sympathise, I also empathised with him. Given the fact that this is one of the most notorious DC villains ever known to date in terms of comic book history and fiction, is a rather surprising move, as I did not think that would even be possible considering the fact we know what the Joker is about and what he's like. That is where the brilliance of this movie comes in. I'm actually feeling that I actually care for a character that all of us actually love to hate, considering the fact of how many people he murders. Something which I actually despise and never condone, and I'd never ever endorse it either. My feelings is that I've actually found myself caring, especially how well written this movie is. Because many of us, including myself, can actually relate to the struggles of putting up with people from society itself on an everyday basis. A lesson that I've always known was implemented into this movie, and that lesson was actually this. Anybody can actually have a bad day that can be so impactful on your mental health and your psyche that it will be the start of a totally different life for that individual, whether it be good or bad. Good for those who actually say they don't care about you and how they treat you and have completely disregarded you from their own life, and bad for you because of the fact you actually have to suffer and live with it. I feel like the ethics regarding the morals between good and evil, as complex things as they are not really focused on this movie, because some people have pretty much a black and white view of such things. That those who actually suffer are always going to be evil people, and those who have it a little bit privileged and don't suffer as much have it easy. Rather, I felt Joker was more emphasised on the struggles of prejudgment, paranoia, and someone who's actually just being him or herself in society, that many people can actually just say, what a weirdo. And considering that prejudgment is going on a lot in society, so is prejudice, along with other things of that nature, that is pretty much another thing that is very much relatable for every human being on this planet Earth that has pretty much ever lived. The movie Joker is definitely its own art piece, and something that I enjoyed watching. And if that upsets SJWs of today, good. I can't stand them people anyway, to be honest. There wasn't much that I really did not enjoy about Joker. I don't have much to say in terms of nitpicks apart from the suit, considering the fact that I'm really much well versed in the purple suit that's pretty much iconic with the Joker. Now, I didn't actually mind the suit that Joker was actually wearing in this movie, or Arthur Fleck rather, but I can actually make do with that because it's a different interpretation. It was pretty much something of an outstanding performance by Joaquin Phoenix, and the colour of his suit really didn't matter to me. I kind of overlooked that because there was something more important that I actually enjoyed more: his interpretation. During the final 20 minutes of the on-screen movie, not including the credits, I was guessing left, right and centre. My adrenaline was pumping ever so much more as to how the movie would end, and I was very satisfied with the end result. Todd Phillips has directed the movie Joker with a good plot that was captivating, followed by its tone and environment. Nothing in this movie is hardly difficult on the eyes to actually notice or actually watch, in terms of its visuals and shaky cam. Although this movie is in fact R-rated, the humour in Joker was actually kept in its place in a small basket, which I feel is another thumbs up for its delivery. If there is something I have noticed in movies and something I cannot stand, is using humour in the most sentimental and or serious moments in scenes that befits the situation or plot of the story and or moment for the character, only to be thrown out the window by using humour or unnecessary jokes or jokey moments just for a cheap laugh. Thank you, Joaquin Phoenix. Thank you, Todd Phillips, and to the entire cast that worked very well on this movie, Joker. And also, thank you very much to the legends who I mentioned earlier in this review that have had their portrayal as the Joker, the clown prince of crime of Gotham. So, have you seen the movie Joker? Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section. Do you feel it was good? Do you feel it was bad? Do you feel that it was necessary? Do you feel that it was a great performance by Joaquin Phoenix? Do you think it was bad? Do you think it actually represents gun violence? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below, because not only has this movie received critical acclaim with certain people, a lot of other people don't like it, considering the fact it's a movie of an origin story based on the Joker. And it's one that I am absolutely happy to say that was actually pretty well done, and I really, really enjoyed it. One of very few movies that I actually felt captivated to watch. It did not leave me disappointed, and I felt that the scenes regarding around the violence were actually done with respect and not out of chaos or just simply for the point of it. It was done respect for the Joker, respect for the characters, and actually fits the tone of the absolute struggles that people put up with. Thank you very much for watching my review. I am Dr. Virtual, the Gaming Doctor. May retro gaming live on. May you have a good day. Look after yourselves, look after your loved ones, fellow minions, and look after everybody else. Don't fall into the pit of being an absolute scumbag. Thank you for watching. See you soon.
You just smile.
Hello gaming minions, thank you for watching today's video. Fancy owning some awesome Dr. Virtual merch? Then please hop on over to the site's store. The link will be in the description, and thank you ever so much for your kind support.